DC here. Hi, guys and gals. Sunday morning. Sunday morning early coffee vlog. Well, it's actually not that early. It's 7:30. I can hear upstairs Mrs. DC is getting up. So maybe I won't make a very long vlog because when she comes down, we'll have breakfast. Yeah, so I just finished I did my usual Bible readings and my Spanish lessons. I kind of wonder though about those online lessons because there's not that much conversation. I mean, anybody who's learned another language knows that the best thing that you can do is immersion. I remember when I learned German, basically I was like thrown into the pot. And yeah, the people did kind of speak English. Well, actually, they did speak English. That was maybe one of the main problems. But most people around me didn't, and that was a good thing. If you want to learn a language, the best thing is to be basically thrown into the pot and have to learn how to swim. Yeah. But like I say, I'm doing this with two online apps. One is Duolingo, which is not bad. It's fun actually, but it's kind of gamey. You can tell it's more geared towards the younger people, but it's okay. It is actually okay. And the other one is Babbel, which is more standard uh, classes with more grammar and stuff like that. Uh, but in both cases, you're missing. I mean, they make you talk, but you're not talking. You're not speaking with someone. You're just kind of like talking. There are the possibilities in the Babbel one at least to have what they call online courses. So you got so many that would be free, but it's you kind of wonder if you really want to do that. I mean, it's I don't know. In a way, I guess I could speak Spanish with my well, my daughter-in-law does speak it a bit. Her mother, of course, is Spanish. I mean, they're from a Spanish family, so of course they all understand it and everything. But once you've kind of got into talking with somebody in another language, I don't know if you've ever noticed that when you're with a bilingual person, you usually end up speaking with one language with the person, and usually it's the law of least effort in that. So if the other person speaks good English, you'll end up speaking English. If they speak, you make things easy so that you can communicate. And I think that's the thing. I mean, if you had children and they go like our kids, they all speak English, but I wouldn't, they speak it even with an accent. I mean, it's not like, because it's not their first language. And in school and their friends and everything, they were always speaking French. When I was a young boy living in Sutton, Canada, so in Quebec, but I was a bilingual town, we were the Anglos on the street. And the people all thought, and it was funny because I remember the neighbors, they had 5 kids. And the neighbor lady saying, "Oh, it's so cool. You've got these English speaking people, so our kids are all going to learn how to speak English." Of course not. We all spoke French with them because that was the way we played, and we played in French. I mean, I had English at home and with my mom and on television and the books, and everything else was in English. But playing with the kids, no, it wasn't French. It's always like that, isn't it? Hmm. It's like somebody once asked me, "You watch a lot of French or German videos on YouTube?" And I said, "Actually, never. Uh, I started in the English crowd and just stayed there." I mean, of course I can. I say never. That's not quite true, but it's like that's that's where I go. That's where I relax, and yeah, that's it. Yeah. How are you guys with languages? I know most of you do not automatically speak a second language, but if you go on vacation or stuff like that, or do you get along? I mean, can you understand what you see or read and so on? I mean, like for example, Italian. I have what I call restaurant Italian. I can't I can't converse really in Italian, but I can usually read enough to order, because we have a Swiss Italian part, and have Italy, which is close. So, you know, that's one of the things. I always laugh because people that go down to the Swiss-Italian part, people think, you know, well, we'll be using French or what. But actually, if you go down in that part, most of the Italophones also speak German or English. And French is the language that they speak the least. It's kind of amusing. It kind of like goes against what you expect. Yeah, but people always say, you know, you learn a language better if you know another one. I mean, like if you're bilingual, like I was, I would speak French and English, and when I learned German speaking, thinking in English, and that went really well. Now I should do what I learned, you know, because I'm learning Spanish. And it would be easy to learn Spanish thinking in French, which I do most of the time when I'm working on Spanish or a Latin language. But all the apps are in English. So sometimes, you know, it's like, okay, the translations would be better if they would be in French, put it that way, because you see the language is closer. Like counting in Spanish, I realize that if I want to count in Spanish, it's easier to think in French than to think in English. There's certain things like that. So of course, if you do have that, bilingual or Anglo-Saxon and Latin background, it's easier, I guess, to learn some of these languages. Anyway, I know that some of you are pretty proficient. Some of you are proficient in other languages, and it's always interesting to see the differences. Yeah. Okay, anyway, I can hear that Mrs. DC is slowly getting ready to come down. So that was just it. That was a very quick little Sunday morning coffee vlog. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your Sunday. Bye.